Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 27th, puts us 90 days out from September 25th. As we close in, Thursday, big class on the books today. And then, of course, Thursday, we do the halftime business planning clinic because we are getting ready for ultimately fourth quarter stuff. As soon as you get back from the holiday, you're talking about Columbus Day weekend, Indigenous Peoples Day cash. And if you're not doing the activities, we're going to find out real soon. And this works both ways. And we talk about this at the top of every quick start. And you're sick of hearing me say it. Maybe you don't like the salt because it stings the wounds. Just saying. So in the grand scheme of things, if you're unfascinated by what you're doing this week at closing tables, look back 90 days. And if you don't like the way that feels, behave differently today. So when we get to September 25th, you're sitting down, getting a check handed to you by Jenny Kopp at 4 points because you were smart enough to also dot I's, cross T's, and sign babies and make things get closed at the table. You can get your check at the table, right? So today, as we get out of here, we're heading into Fight Club. Fight Club is every Tuesday and Thursday. Lead generation is every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we get together and we create solidarity and we do the awful thing that nobody loves to do. 2.5 people planet-wide. I think Clayton Murray said yesterday he actually enjoys it. So he's the one kid on the East Coast. Somebody on the West Coast enjoys lead gen. And the rest of us don't really love it. Even those of us that talk a lot, that like hanging out with people. It's not our favorite thing, and we're going to work through that. We've got all the scripts. If you haven't been to KWCLMHub.com, the new and improved 2.3 version or whatever it is, Melissa and Zoe have zhuzhed it up. And that now has a whole thing up in the corner. You go to Coach's Corner, and all of the scripts are there. The Ignite scripts, the Glover scripts, the untold story of Moses and the burning bush, all of it's there. All the microfiche is there. That's probably not there, but go look anyway. I could be right, could be wrong. All the scripts are there. We drop those in the chat if you're looking for scripts. If you're just looking for support, it's cameras on, mics off, and it's been successful for the people that are showing up. We share that slide every month at the All Partners meeting, and people are like, oh, the numbers are good. And they could be far better because we're not really, my ego's not going to get bruised by this. We've never tipped, I don't think, Jason, we've ever tipped over 20 agents in Fight Club, ever. Out of 670. Now, I know some of you will never come play. That's fine. We have agents that will be wildly successful that will never plug into the things we have. I'm going to say that again because it's brain damage. We have wildly successful agents that will never plug in. My question as your coach is always, what if you did? So if you're feeling like you could use a little encouragement, a little solidarity, some fellowship, jump in, KWFightClub.com. Wow, we buy a lot of domains. Sure as hell do. We're just trying to make it easier for you to find, right? Click the link in the morning news or just go to KWFightClub.com. Today at 9 o'clock, we'll do a little post game at 11 o'clock because we're going to get you on your way. You're either going to do just some deep knee bends and make a ham sandwich and then sit back down next to Mittens at your house and put on Keller TV. Or if you're wicked smart, you're coming into the building so you can be in the room with your fellow agents for clear cooperation. We're going to talk to Jason about that in just a second because that is wildly important that we are super sharp when it comes to that conversation. Also at 11 o'clock, while we're doing some post-game from Fight Club, there's the Mompreneur Mastermind. That is in Portsmouth in the training room, I believe. Yes, right before we kick off with fine, free, clear cooperation. Westcott's in the building for that. You're in Dover right now, but you're skating over to Portsmouth. JV will be here. I think she's in hair and makeup. And that goes from 12 to 2. That is a no-brainer. This is not the last class. Oh, my God, I don't want to miss it because it's going to be the only one. I'm not saying don't come because we'll talk about it more. This is really the first time we're going to rip a ton of meat off the bone. Yes, Jason, am I crazy by saying that? Because we've got to get good at this. If we're not good at this, you will be teaching this to other agents at less fortunate brokerages that don't have consistent contract conversations, right? We'll pick on our friends. If you know, you know. It's funny. It's horrifying, actually. We do have environments in the area that if you want to talk to a broker, oh, I promise I wouldn't laugh. If you want to talk to a broker, you got to swipe a card. That's 2 scoops of raisin with the side of what the actual, Jerry, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
And they don't cap out.
It's spectacular. Now, I'm not making fun. Am I bragging? No, I don't need to brag. It's just the truth. You've got unprecedented access to your brokers. And today for 2 hours, this is a class that all of us need to be a part of. So whether you're doing it at Keller TV at high noon, or if you're going to be in the building in Portsmouth at high noon, you can sacrifice 2 hours this afternoon heading into the holiday weekend to get more of this into your bloodstream. So we really understand the conversation that's taking place, because it's wildly important. We're going to talk about that in just seconds. And then, of course, tonight, for everyone who's a dual career agent, we never say part-time. I don't want to hear part-time. Jason doesn't want to hear part-time. Your cat doesn't want to hear part-time. Your co-broke doesn't want to hear part-time. And your freaking client doesn't want to hear you say part-time. I don't care if you only have 17 minutes a week to do your KW stuff. You are still a dual career agent. And for so many of you, you want to light the other opportunity on fire and come play here full-time. So even though you're dual career, when we're in the space for the 20 minutes or 3 hours that you have every day to do your KW things, we want to behave like we are a business owner. And one of the things you can do tonight after hours, the great Tiffany Hampton, our regional productivity coach for Region 17 here in New England, does evening group coaching. That's at 6 p.m. The link is in the morning news. So that's our schedule for today. One more shameless plug. Fight Club comes up at 9 o'clock, so I'll see you there in about 20 minutes. And then above and beyond that, Thursday, it is the business planning halftime clinic. We're doing that in Portsmouth, full-day training. Our dear friends at Movement Mortgage will be feeding you for that. And it is roughly an 8-hour class to plan the balance of your year, because then we're going to be right back in the classroom. As you know, Jason, September, October, November, December, we do 4 more, arguably maybe even 5, because we've done some for our friends down in Boston. There'll be a handful of opportunities this fall to get you ready for, I'm going to say this slowly so you don't cry, 2024, Westcott. Wow. So in a little over a month, like we're wrapping up June, we're back from the holiday. We are going to be doing Win with Sellers and Win with Buyers on the alternating Tuesdays in July. August, you guys jump into Bold with our friends over at Metropolitan. And then in September, we're back into Business Planning Clinic for next year. And the reason I'll tell you to be in the one in September, historically in September, we teach it in Portsmouth. If you can get to that first Business Planning Clinic, you're walking out with a plan that you can make actionable by October 1st, which is what, Jason? January 1st. And if you've ever heard the great James Shaw talk about what January 1st is, whatever your plan for 2024 is, 15% of that should be under contract by January 1st. So when you're waking up at the police department looking for your pants and your wallet and your dignity, you should have 15% of your next year's goal already under contract. Mm-hmm. You're making my brain hurt, Tim. Haven't had my Cheerios yet, Tim. I know, but if we don't deliver the truth to you, we can just march around like we talked about yesterday on the Quick Start. We don't want to mistake movement for the metrics. We don't want to mistake our emotion around the business for the logic that we have to input. If we're not focused on our metrics, we're just having conversations that can be aspirational, and we want to make sure that you are inspiring yourself to do the next right thing. One of those next right things is today at 12. Jason, clear cooperation has been unlabeled or unspoken amongst most agents until like this has really become the term behind it. But if you can, educate us on what's the mythology of this? How did we get here, and why is this so important?
Clear cooperation became a vote in 2019, became a rule in 2020. They decided NAR. This is an NAR rule through your MLS. So if people are going to grab their code of ethics that we hand out, you're not going to find this in there. It is a National Association of Realtors.
I'm having mine dry cleaned, but I'll grab it later. Go ahead.
Under the blanket of your MLS rules. So you got to remember that the part of your realtor dues. Tim, what do we pay $600 for? It's not for the RPIN, right? I mean, yes, you do get that. That is super cool.
Those are $400 though. Yes.
It's for the MLS. It's for the ethics. It's for, your forms. It's for how the business kind of gets ran at a certain level that we do. It is to say that you are a better real estate agent. You do not need to be a member of the Realtor Association to hold a real estate license. It's another myth. Nathan requires it because Nathan, as a broker, has said that everybody that works for him will have it, and Gary requires it as well. So they come up with this rule. Now, I'm going to use a few terms that we're not allowed to use anymore, right? We don't talk apples in rooms, but we're not supposed to say this word, which is pocket listing. We're going to talk about this today. Back in the day, what would happen was that I would have a listing. I knew the Lindsays wanted to sell out in Stratford. I didn't list the property with the Lindsays. I just knew this, and I had this in my pocket. I would go around to my fellow agents and whom I liked, and I would say, hey, Nate Dickey, got a property in Stratford. Hey, so-and-so, Caitlin Witcher, I'll use other agents. Hey, Caitlin Witcher,
Mm-hmm.
I got a property in Stratford. Hey, Lynn Sweet, I got a property in Stratford.
All
These
the
are agents
Stratford
from
kids.
other
Yes.
brokerages
Yes.
in which I
The great
like.
Patrick Frazier.
Yes, you know what I mean. So I'm grabbing agents at whom I like, that I feel are as though is a good agent for me. Now, does this happen? Yes, it does. The
Huh.
issue with it is that the general public has said, I never had an opportunity to buy that home.
Mm.
And then the seller steps up because a buyer steps up and says, well, the Lindsay sold for 400. I would have paid 440.
Mm.
So who's in the wrong, right? Now, it was very hard to say who was in the wrong because I didn't have a listing agreement. When you do a listing agreement under your fiduciary and ethical obligations, it is that you would do what's highest and best for your client. So they got rid of that. So then what did the agents start doing? Coming soon. We saw this really, really, really strong. I would say 13 through 17, 18.
Yes.
Coming soon. Properties were coming soon for months.
Yes.
Because why? I'm going to say this, and I don't want anybody to get mad. Agents are lazy. Buyer agents would say it's coming soon, it's not on the MLS yet. Listing agents were doing this. Why? They were trying to get the buyer themselves.
Sure.
They're reducing their apples, doing a variable, right? So instead of getting paid 3 apples, I can get 4 apples if I bring the buyer. I'll stick a coming soon out there and I'll get the buyer and I'll do a
Mm.
duel.
Mm.
Well, unfortunately, you all know how I feel about duel. I know the laws. I don't need anybody to recite them to me. This happens a lot. I'm pretty versed in all of the states that we're in because it's kind of my job. But I'm not a fan of duel because for that same reason. Now, I am doing a variable now. I'm in a duel. Now, sellers are starting to say, hey, you didn't really help me. You're kind of doing a deal with duct tape on your mouth. You can't negotiate because if you guys are explaining duel at a high level, these are the conversations you should be having.
Mm.
So NAR said, we got to do this whole clear cooperation. Clear cooperation is that I clearly am going to cooperate with everybody. I may not like Tim Lindsay, the agent, yet I got to give him the opportunity to come into my property.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop doing these coming soons, marketing on my Facebook page, slowly only using and I'm going to use private MLS, that's what I call your Facebook pages, right?
Yeah.
To try to get a buyer. Because it's not highest and best. And anybody that wants to argue with that, please bring the data because I'm pretty sure I have data that supports that if it's on the MLS, you're going to get higher money versus an agent that's just trying to do it on their Instagram account. The proof is in the pudding at national, state, local, whatever you want. I mean, we have it. Nate's been preaching this for a year. Now, the rule came in 2020. They basically said we're going to give the brokers time to educate their people. That, I'm going to be honest, that doesn't happen, right? We're the only brokerage that really trains at a high level. And going back to what Tim was saying, we have contract class every week. We've been talking about this now for probably about a year and a half.
Yeah.
670, 700 agents, whatever number we're at as we sit today, we get about 50 to 60 people in contract class. So we're hitting about 10%. Now, with that, we're also hitting the same people every week that come to contract class. So we're not getting everybody. But clear cooperation is coming. We need everybody to understand this. And let me tell you why. 2 reasons. One, there are fines involved with this. And the fines go straight to you. They don't go to Nate. They're going to get billed to Nathan, and the market center is going to bill you. So we will swipe your credit card for these. The first fine is $250. Second fine is $500. Third fine is $1,500. The fourth fine is loss of MLS, possible loss of the MLS.
And
What does that
please
mean?
be clear, sweet Jason.
Yeah.
Loss of MLS for whom?
The age. Oh, well, that's the issue. We don't know if Daddy Warbucks will be involved in that. You are part of it. Because you've got to remember, anything you guys do is under Nathan's name. There is no such thing as, somebody said to me the other day, it's a blah, blah, blah listing. It was a mega agent office. No such thing. Everything you do is Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains. And everything you do, I know you're the appointed or you're the designated agent, depending on what state. It's Nate. Anything that gets sold is Nate. If Nate says, I don't want to do real estate anymore and turns his license in, this is done. It's shut off. Right? Nate is the big cheese. All of our deals go through Nate. So we don't know yet. NAR is not really saying if the broker gets hammered on this. Right. That's the concern.
Well, my point being, you live in a huge high rise and you don't pay your rent. Everybody gets locked out of their room.
Correct.
Or you go to turn the water on. The water's not working for everyone. So that happens when people are late on dues. We experience that, or we've been threatened to experience that. And they have not yet been clear with this bad news, and I trust it's going to be the worst of news. That's how it's going to go. So
and the big thing with this is it's not different in every state. I get this conversation a lot. It's different in every state, Jay. It's not. It's a National Association of Realtor rule 1.1 through 1. Well, it's actually 1.01 to 1.03. It's in all the MLSs. Now, some MLSs run a little differently, and we're going to go over all the MLSs today. We're going to talk about PIN. We're going to talk about MLS Prime. We're going to talk about Flex. We're going to talk about Paragon, what we use in New Hampshire and Vermont. We're going to hit all the states and what it means.
I'm only laughing because we only have 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Oh
Maybe
yeah.
I should stay in my office and watch it on Keller TV because if I come in, you guys are talking. We're going to be trading cookie recipes.
I literally, Vashon's making the slide deck and we're going through it all, and she's done an amazing job. Jen did a really great job. And then, I start running scenarios. My job was to do scenarios. Hers was to get all the laws and the rules.
So you're like red lighting the slide deck.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So I send over a list of stuff to Vashon, and she's just like,
yeah, this is part one. This is part one.
This is a great rule if you are a brokerage of 40 or less agents, which is about, honestly, 99% of the agencies out there. This rule is phenomenal for us. This is a rule that says Keller Williams, Coastal, because they didn't think of brokerages of our size, right? So you're going to learn about what that means. You're going to learn about, how it can affect you. But the big thing, the fines are coming through it. And said with love, Tim always talks about when we first started, we were the paint store, right? When I came to Keller Williams, there was literally 20 agents here. I think 10 of them left, right? Because the original 12, Nate was brand new. When we came here, everything was smoke and mirrors and da-da-da-da. And, Keller Williams is fake and capping out's fake. Well, here we now are.
Remember we would get so much pushback? Remember when we would ask to hold escrow and nobody trusted us to hold escrow? Yeah, no matter what side of the deal we were on, you had to leave the money at the other. I got picked on in my freshman year for sure. And that was only in 2010. Oh, yeah. We were still getting pushback.
You guys are a brand new brokerage.
Yes. 6 years in when I joined. Yeah, they were still like, we're going to hold the money because we don't believe you. It was like Boiler Room with Ben Affleck. Why are all the phones on the floor? Anyway, go ahead.
Our broker's not driving around a Lamborghini. Anyway, what is that? Anyway, when you guys go to a partners meeting and you see Coos County, York County, Stratford County, Belmont County, a lot of ones are up there, right? We are first place. The issue the Click Corporation is, and the concern that we have is, not everybody is going to understand how this works. There are exemptions to the rule too. There are properties that you can do coming soons. There are properties that you can do these crazy delayed showings. There are properties that you can do this stuff with. And when agents don't know that, here's the kicker, guys. It's just an anonymous report button on all the MLSs. So it's going to be report, because you know who you guys are? You're the number one in Dover. You're the number one in Portsmouth. You're the number one in Laconia, York, Wells. Other agents are going to use this to try to get Keller Williams. That's why we are teaching this at a high level so that you don't get reported on maybe a mistake. I'm going to say that because some people will make mistakes.
Yeah.
The multi-state stuff is going to be a problem. People that are licensed in multi-states. Come and learn how that's going to come into play. People that are using vendors that might be licensed, that could come into play.
Yeah.
Writing offers that say, hey, I want to sell the Lindsay's house in Stratford to buy this house, but the Lindsay's house isn't listed yet. Did you just tell an agent about a property that's coming on market?
Yeah.
These are the
Yep.
Yeah, it can get weird because and I get it. But come to the class today. We're going to talk about all of it. We're really trying to protect you guys because I'll tell you right now, if you do a mistake and you put on your Facebook page, you put on your Instagram page, and then let's pick a third one. You do a live video. That is 3 violations on one listing on one day. You could be up at the commission. You could be up at Paragon, MLS Flex, whatever it is. You might be losing your MLS access. It's very easy to get a $1,500 fine in a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Right? They've done 3 years of this training stuff. And anybody that's come, I've always talked about show brokerage, show no one, show all. That's kind of been my motto of how this works with office exclusivity. Come and learn what we mean by this. If you've never been to this class, please come because I'll tell you guys, it's going to be rough because I'm going to be honest with you. If we get called to the carpet, we have to bring your listing agreement with us. And when a listing agreement says X and it doesn't match up with Y, that's going to be a whole new set of problems.
Yeah.
Believe me. Why do I say that? I was an agent for 20 years before I took this role. A lot of my X's and Y's didn't line up. It's going to expire. I'll just extend it.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. So,
and that we always hear us say it's going to be great until it's not, and we're entering the not right? So we've got to make sure that we have full understanding of this. You made a great point too, Westcott, and I just talked about this the other day. I've always used the analogy or just the mindset. If you remember that picture from the Olympics of Phelps in the pool, and the kid from the other country is about a length or a length and a half behind him, and the shot is across the pool. Phelps, Michael Phelps, 9-time gold medal. I don't know, all the medals, huge feat. God bless the kid. He's a length and a half in front of the other kid, and he's just swimming towards the end of the pool, focused on the win. And that kid from the other country, I always say Brazil, but it's not Brazil. But I'm going to say it again anyway, just to piss them off. So, for your people. So, in the grand scheme of things, you love it.
I'm Portuguese, not Brazilian, but that's fine.
I know, but there's a lot of Portuguese. Yeah. Anyway, we're back. So the kid shooting the look across the pool is losing, and that's the whole mindset about in the grand scheme of things. Losers focus on winners, winners focus on winning. And, the reason we have the willingness to help each other here is the people leading from the front will turn around and outreach a hand to pull you along. The people behind you are the only people that really have time to judge you. So the point being, and Westcott made a great point, if you were at the All Partners meeting, we are 1 and 2 in every county, mostly ones and a handful of twos in every county we serve. So think about the kid with nothing going on at the brokerage in 5th place. They've got all the time in the world to be like, you know what? F them. They're the big bad giant. And again, we always talk about this. We can usually want what is it? Idle hands do the devil's work, right? If we are busy and productive and doing the next right thing, as James Shaw would say, we don't really have time to do that. And obviously, if you ever see a breach of the code of ethics, you should go to JV and Westcott and make them aware of it. Above and beyond that, there are people with time right now because they're not doing the next right thing to pick on us. We are not just that sleepy little paint store down the street now. We're a behemoth. And some people are jealous of what you guys are doing, and some people just downright dislike you. And they're looking for something. The same people that call about the font size on your sign is not legible from the street. People do this. I know it sounds maniacal. They're out there, and they're coming for us. And if we don't get this right, if we're not sharp as an arrow on this topic, it's going to be a long summer into a cold winter for us if we are not sharp, because we don't know, because they haven't actually verbalized what it's going to look like. And somebody tripping up could jam up the entire company on MLS Access if the fines get to that point. We're not saying all this to scare you. I know we've got agents that are coming into the room that are pretty well versed, Westcott, and they're just coming into you a little bit wicked smarter. If you have no idea what we're talking about, you don't really understand the bells and whistles on this, please join us. You can do it from the comfort of your home. It is 12 to 2, so it will be on Keller TV, also live in Portsmouth. We are not recording this. Again, it's like a contractual conversation. These are not evergreen conversation. And take it out of context. There's too much misunderstanding to let it just fly. So it will be live on Keller TV from 12 to 2. Absent that, we need you in the room. And then, of course, we know we're not going to cover everything in 2 hours. Correct. We're going to start, though. And the conversation is never going to end. So if you do have questions for your brokers about this, you should be in the room today. If you ever have a question for your brokers, you have to get through Westcott to get to JV. So it's 603-234-2589. They'll be in the room today from 12 to 2. If I can help with anything, it's 603-834-2856. And if you need to book my face, it is meetwithcoach.com. We'll see you, Fight Club, in 3 minutes. So we'll see you right behind that at Clear Cooperation in Portsmouth and on KellerTV.com. Westcott, thank you so much. See you, brother. Bye.
See you, Tim.